Hello, you guys. Okay, is this ever gonna work? Goodness, this is giving me a lot of trouble. This fucking blows because I was recording and I think it was going well, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what now? So I'm not gonna read this, but he's gonna go. Obviously, he left for a couple weeks and he has to take care of the plants.
Not too far away. It's the hometown of your favorite Little Mermaid.
Mermaid.
But I will stay for quite a long time.
Which he
So
did.
could you help take care of my plants at home?
Will do. Grow well without his help. Do you trust me?
Don't worry. I stuck name tags and care instructions onto each flower pot. If you have any trouble, I will be available. Whether it's about plants or about you, I'll be there.
Yep. Aw, patted my head as if he were giving me encouragement and confidence.
When I come back, Margaret
The
should be
plant, yeah.
Then we can sit on the balcony, appreciate the flowers, drink tea, and eat your favorite dessert, all right?
No problem. Began to picture in my mind. Yep, be sure to tell me in advance when you come back.
I promise.
Aw. He took my hand and gave me the key to his home.
Thank you for your trouble while I'm away.
Anytime, bro. Anytime. I will take care of them, and you should take good care of yourself.
Same to you.
Yeah, I definitely need to take care of myself a lot more. I definitely need to follow that advice. Oh. Cedarwood, and then it's gonna ask me. Oh, I thought it was okay. So yes, like I said, I think a couple weeks passed. The windowsill, and he went to Denmark. For one reason that was only known to me, I wanted to see him, and she does. Though one of my main purposes was to meet him, the priority was to finish my work. Yep. Being in the same city, witnessing the same sunrise. Adorable.
Have you been very busy recently? You didn't send me much about Garda and the other plants.
That's right, I don't think he actually... Okay, I think this is where the video actually stopped. And how do I know? Because if I hear their voices being the same volume as this, then I know it's not recording. Haha. Yep, kind of. But they are under my good care. Don't worry. Before leaving, I set up the automatic watering devices for the plants in advance. Knowing Lucien cherished them a lot, I couldn't be something about it.
What I worry about the most is not them,
Aha.
but you.
Aww. No need to worry about me. I am good. Even so, I got overwhelmed by a feeling of dizziness. I probably caught a cold.
How long are you going to lie to me?
Rip, he knows. Lucien's tone was still gentle, but there was an irresistible pressure in it. I was flustered for a moment, thinking that he had seen through what I thought was a full, foul-proof plan. I didn't lie to you. Listening to my argument, he sighed heavily and then continued in a more something tone than before, with even a little worry in it.
Don't you know your nasal voice has betrayed you?
True, I guess he'd be asking, like, why would she be sick if she was just in the house, right?
If you don't keep your promise and take good care of yourself, how can you set a good example for me?
Aww, that's fine. I have taken the pills. Confirming that he was unaware of my presence here, I felt relief immediately and naturally shifted the topic. By the way, where is the sea of the purple hydrant? I don't know how to say that properly. The flowers you showed me a few days ago.
It's near my research institution in residence.
Do you have a detailed address? Don't think too much. I'm just curious. Oh, wait. Does he not know she's here? Or did he just notice that she's been going out and because she's got sick. After a short pause, Lucien's tone faintly rose at the last syllable over the phone.
Curious.
You. Not me, just asking for my friend. I hurriedly made up an excuse, but he didn't continue to make a detailed inquiries and sent me the location directly.
If your friend comes by today, maybe we can meet.
Are you going out?
Yes. To see an important person. That's all for now. Have a good night.
Perfect.
Good night.
Oh. Holding the phone slightly, heating up due to the call, I got a warm flow going through my heart, but I was a little caring about which important person he was going to meet. After all the interviews were finished, I found the block right away by following the GPS on my phone. In the sunshine, the clusters of blue and purple flowers were like many delicate balls made of strips of silk scattering on the vast lawn. The scene of the bouquets of flowers overlapped perfectly with the photos he sent me days ago. It was like the view seen through his eyes. A sudden sun rain blurred my vision, but a figure not too far away looked still clear to me. It was Lucien. Oh, before I could put up my umbrella, I ran straight towards him. Oh. Hearing the steps, he subconsciously turned his head, but I held him in arms tightly from behind. He didn't need to look back to know it was me who jumped at him. He covered the back of my hand with his warm and thick palm and rubbed it tenderly. It was the familiar temperature and the light fragrance of his, and the low, haunting voice, which is unlike the distorted one over the phone.
You are the important person I wanted to see.
Oh, he intended to turn around, but I was loath to let go. But I didn't want him to see my emotional expressions. Leaning against his warm and broad back, I sobbed softly. I had planned to run into him, wearing my happiest smile, but at that moment I couldn't even control my tears from running down. He took my hand to his lips and rubbed it tenderly. Oh, his warm breath melted the coldness of my fingertips.
Your hands are freezing.
Yep.
Let's go home. Otherwise your cold will get worse.
I shook my head with a jerk on his back. He didn't force me, but indulged in all my caprice as usual.
I also want to hug my silly girl.
Hug.
Could you let me turn around?
Maybe. Ugh. Whoa, hey. I sobbed while slightly releasing my arms, and he embraced me into his arms and wrapped me in his coat until the warmth.
Next time, don't use your friend as an excuse. Tell me directly when you want to see me.
Aw, sure. With a sigh of relief, I suddenly felt very dizzy. When I came to myself, I was lifted up horizontally by Lucien. He dropped his eyes and looked at me, frowning, his tightly closed lips opened and then closed. I didn't hear his last words clearly, but only vaguely felt that he had passed through the sea of purple flowers and returned to his residence. Did I like... Oh, duh, because it doesn't give you the prompt because I unlocked it, dumbass. Okay, when I woke up again, I saw the sky turning bright through the gap between the curtains. Waves of dull pain came from my temples. I was about to rub them with my hands, only to find my hands were covered by Lucien's palm, and they become very warm.
Sleep a little longer. The sun rises earlier here. It's only 5 o'clock in the morning.
Nice. Lucien, who was sitting on the floor, put down the files in his hand, bent down to lift my bangs, and pressed his forehead against mine.
Good. Your fever is almost gone.
Ooh.
Are you thirsty? Shall I get you a cup of water?
Perhaps. His words were spoken very softly, but were chiseled onto my heart. The after effect of the fever did make my mouth feel as dry as bone, but compared with a cup of warm water to moisten my throat, I preferred his company at the moment. Don't go. Stay with me, okay? I still have a lot of questions in mind. Like, how has he been doing lately? Why didn't he come back after the daisies bloomed? I clenched his wrist with all of my remaining strength to keep him. He followed my movement to sit on the bedside and pressed himself against me. I just felt that when the tip of our noses were about to touch each other, he stopped again. His emotionless face was now filled with concerns. He was about to say something, but he finally swallowed it, as revealed by the rolling of his Adam's apple. I wanted to ask what was unsaid, but before I could open my mouth, my eyes were covered by his palms. Lucien?
Listen, you need to rest now. I promise I'll always be here for you. You came here specifically, and now you're worried that I'll leave? Is it because I didn't keep my promise?
Oh. Though I couldn't see his expression, I could sense the self-accusation in his tone. I pushed his hands and my eyes away, and directly looked into his drooping, gloomy eyes. I only felt that my willfulness had put him in an awkward situation again, and the complex emotions in my heart burst into my nose, making me want to cry, which is kind of what I want to do right now. I didn't blame you. I just... All the words on the tip of my tongue turned into sobs. Crossing different time zones to be with him turned out to be something that I hadn't expected.
You have every reason to blame me.
Oh.
Now that you have come here to be with me, please don't feel bad. You're not alone, okay?
No. The more he talked, the more of my tears went unrestrained. I couldn't speak as my throat seemed like being blocked by cotton, and I could only shake my head with a jerk to deny what he had just said. I didn't mean to blame him for his not coming back as scheduled. I just wanted to see if he'd been doing well recently. During the separation, I could receive photos and info he sent me now and then. But I wasn't content to piece together his life only through these scattered fragments. Instead, I wanted to participate in his life like I used to. Go through the blooming and withering of flowers and experience the joys and sorrows of life with him. How could someone like him, smart and knowing everything, fail to interpret my thought this time? He dabbled his thumb over my moist eyes, but the overflowing tears soon got to his fingertips again. It was the first time I saw him look so confused. Without knowing what to do, he bent down to get close to me again. He moved so close that I couldn't focus. Excuse me. On his body and face, but only let my tears blur the contour of his face. Then a kiss steadily fell on my eyelashes.
When you wake up and are feeling better, let's go out for a stroll. I want to take you to all those places that I shared with you.
Oh, of course I want to go, but I am flying back tonight.
Is the work at hand very urgent?
Probably not. Not really.
In that case, maybe you don't have to rush back.
Ooh. It turned out that I wasn't the only person that didn't want the other one to leave from the beginning.
I'll handle your flight changes. You just stay. Don't think too much. Just go to sleep.
Oh. His murmuring by my ears and the warmth from his palms made me feel at ease. I didn't remember what I had dreamed of that night, but I remembered my heart was filled with happiness. My heart doesn't feel happy at all. Oh, my heart, it feels so shattered. The mottled shadow flashed across my eyelids. It seemed I had a long sleep. Lucien took my temperature, and fed me with breakfast and pills without haste, as if it were just a leisurely afternoon back at home. I was completely sober after washing my face and rinsing my mouth. Then I suddenly remembered that he still had his own work to finish here. Lucien, don't you have important work?
I do.
Oh. He smiled and gathered the wet, loosened hair scattered on my face and wrapped them carefully behind my ears.
But you're here. Nothing is more important than you.
Oh. Meticulously behind her ears. As he spoke, he caressed my cheek again and made me look at his inescapable eyes. You always do that.
Oh? Do what?
Always make fun of me.
If I remember correctly, the last time was over a month ago.
Rip.
I will need to try harder to always make fun of you, as you've said.
Don't try hard on such things. Make efforts on your work instead. The sooner you finish your work, the sooner...
Don't worry, I will. But in the meantime, you'll need to wait a little longer.
He rubbed my head and finished the sentence. I was too embarrassed to say. The warm sunlight merged with his eyes, making his expression appear tender and bright. I couldn't help reaching out to circle his back and leaned against his chest to enjoy the short reunion. He held my shoulder with one hand, and I rested the other on my head, caressing my hair at a slow tempo, as if he's pacifying a frightened little cat. I'm frightened.
We will go out for a stroll later. Is there any place you want to go?
Maybe. The scenic spots and small places he shared with me flashed across my mind, and what's left at the end of the sea was the flowers, the hydrangea, I don't know how to say it, where we met again yesterday. Let's go to the city park. Just release me from this pain. It fucking hurts. He didn't ask me why. He just took my hand and went out of the door. The clouds dotted in the sky couldn't stop the sunshine from pouring down, while the flowing air still carried a certain coolness. The same scenery as yesterday now had a whole different meaning with his company. That would be true, or that would make sense. By the way, have you seen the statue of the Little Mermaid during your stay here?
Not yet.
Oh, we could go look at it together. I went to see it the other day of the interview, and I suddenly felt that the mermaid is stronger than I thought.
Did anything happen?
I don't know. No, I just think she was courageous enough to face such an ending. Facing love, she didn't just follow it blindly and dedicate herself to it. Rather, she kept her own choice, even if in front of her beloved. As if the weather was actively trying to add on to the atmosphere, the sun and rain suddenly came down. Oh, that's so cute. Though he had brought an umbrella, Lucien took up his own overcoat. I was about to say, what did he do to it? Okay. And put it on my shoulder and wrapped me carefully. Unconsciously, I reached out to grasp his collar and buried my head onto his slightly cooled chest that was windswept. His heartbeats go even rapider, go faster, harder, I guess, as if to shake off a certain confinement. I slightly tilted my face and saw his lips that had been pressed so tightly, but he didn't loosen his hands holding me in his arms and tighten them even more. Lucien, are you okay?
I'm all right. Don't worry. I didn't catch your cold.
How would you catch your cold unless you started coughing or you kissed her, one of those two, in your face, like coughing your face? It seemed that he didn't want me to see his pain. That's how I feel. He pressed my shoulders to make me fall onto his arms. Uh-oh, he doesn't look good. He has a sweat drop. But I held him by his shoulder and struggled to free myself and anxiously, I don't like that word, stroked his hair, soaked by sweat, and his pale, almost transparent face. You are not okay. You always let me tell you everything, but you keep everything to yourself. Just like now, I don't know what makes you feel unwell. He was in a daze, hearing my shout from the bottom of my heart, trying to force a smile, but ending up in an expression sadder than crying.
That's what you think of me? If that's what is bothering you, I promise that I will not hide any aspect of me from you, including my weakness.
My weakness.
Will you accept me this way?
Yes. I stood on a tiptoe to look steadily at the sadness, at the melancholy eyes, and nodded with determination. I will. What I like is the complete Lucien, no matter which aspect. Saying this, I held him tightly. He also raised his slightly trembling hands to embrace me so hard, as if he's going to put me into his body. We held for a long time in the sea of flowers. When I looked up again, the sky had cleared. I took out the bottle of dried daisy petals from my bag and put it into his hand. This is for you.
What is this?
The flowers? Lucien looked down at the glass bottle, the corners of his mouth that pressed tightly, turned upwards with a nice looking curve. Worrying that he would be confused about suddenly receiving such a gift, I blushed, lowered my head, and explained in a low voice. It said that dried daisy petals that have been bathed in the moonlight.
We'll bless the ones who receive them so they'll be healthy and happy forever, right?
Healthy and happy. I need that so much. I desperately need that. I didn't expect Lucien would have heard about such a far-fetched legend. I raised my head and happened to meet his smiling eyes. Where are my smiling eyes? They're gone for now.
I accept the flowers, but I prefer to leave the blessing to you.
Oh. As he spoke, he bent down to kiss me lightly on my forehead.
I hope my little fool will be healthy and happy forever. When it gets warmer, we will go to the port and see the statue of the Little Mermaid.
I want to be healthy and happy again. I need it so bad. Another breeze blew gently, but the warmth was rippling in our hearts. We smiled into each other's eyes. Though he still couldn't understand the love of the little mermaid, who was dared regardless of personal danger, he suddenly understood the final choice made by the little mermaid. Said she had chosen to embrace all that he had with tenderness. It would be no harm to bear the pain in her heart caused by her own. Oh man, this game is hitting me really hard. The pain in her heart caused by her own, because that's exactly what I'm doing again. It's my own pain and misery. Oh man, that was hard. That was very fucking hard. Oh man. Lucien has been on business trips frequently in recent days. This time, he even left me the key to his home and asked me to take care of his plants. We agreed that he would return when the daisies bloomed. I tried hard to win a chance to work in Denmark, collecting materials for a show. I found Lucien's address by drawing it out of him. I waited for him in the park, full of blooming purple flowers, but as soon as I relaxed, I passed out and fell in his arms due to a cold. Waking up in midnight, I found that Lucien had been by my side. Due to the illness, my mood fluctuated a little, which he considered as a blame for his previous failure to keep the promise, so he committed seriously that he wouldn't leave me alone anymore. Lucien asked me if there's any place I wanted to go. I finally decided to revisit the Park of the Flowers. Despite the abrupt sunny rain, we embraced freely in the rain, feeling the love flowing between us. And that was the date for Oversea's date for Lucien's current event that's about to end in about 2 hours from now. So again, because I don't know what happened to the other video, but I had to spend about a couple more hundred, so I thought that much that I spent and that $5 was gonna be enough. Obviously I was wrong. So, but yeah, let's see. I'll show you the karma for him. Heart's Desire. This is so cute. Well, first of all, the notebook, I was saving it for this. The problem is I literally just got this, so Memory Stardust. I want to save it for that, so I don't think I'm gonna evolve it yet. I would like to, but obviously that won't be able to happen, not right now. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I tried my best, even though I feel like I am just dying in the inside. I'll see you next time, you guys. Bye bye.